Hey guys, this is Mike from Sapulpa Times.
And Lucy with the City of Sapulpa.
I made an old man noise when I sat back into my chair. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah.
I guess I'm getting to that age now.
Old age.
The ripe old age of 41.
Oh.
Are you surprised?
I am. I didn't realize you were 11 years older than me.
We've been through this before.
When did you turn 42?
August.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We just celebrated your birthday. It's close again. It's already June.
We didn't just celebrate. I mean, my birthday is closer than...
Right. That's something. I was like, we just thought, like, no, it's June.
Yeah. It's almost June.
Yeah.
So, I'm old. What's new with you, Lucy? Lucy just got back from fantastic, and I didn't even ask if do you want to talk about where you've been and stuff like that, or no?
That's fine.
Okay.
I went to conference for a week. I went to some government social media. It was actually called that, government social media conference. And so we get to learn the do's and don'ts and what we can say and what we can't, what we can delete and what we can't.
Okay.
Basically, and then we also learn a lot about, there's some new accessibility acts that require us to be fully accessible ADA on our website and social media, and things like that. So I went and learned all of that new judicial stuff, and I can tell you that AI is not coming for our jobs.
I mean, I'm pretty confident in that also, but why can you tell us that?
I just learned a lot about AI and the program, and like it's just really not as smart as people think it is, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
We got to use it in a couple different workshops that I was in, and if you don't put knowledge into it as you're working, then it doesn't know.
Right, it's only as smart as the knowledge you give it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you exit out and go back, it's back to dumb. Like, that's just the best way I know how to put it. Like, it goes back. It doesn't remember all of that.
It doesn't. Okay.
It doesn't.
If you go back.
Right, if you exit out and go back, like, it doesn't remember where you were, what you told it, or anything that you taught it from your last session. Like, it goes away. And so I know there's ways like you can pay for it and you can teach it and craft it to what you want it to be.
Yep.
But you have to do that. Every single person has to craft their AI to who they are and what they want it to be. And we saw couple of lawsuits and different things that AI was used for and where it's messed up and things like that. So it was really interesting and cool. I've heard a lot, here in Oklahoma, we're like, oh, AI is coming, it's great, it's wonderful, but could it take your job? Maybe. So it was really cool and refreshing to see that like it's really not as smart as we think it is.
Yeah. I think it's funny how much that applies to technology in general. I think people were always afraid that computers and robots were going to take over the world. They still might, I'm really trying to work hard to make sure I get in good with our robot overlords whenever it does happen, because, I'm old enough to have seen The Matrix.
Yeah.
And, but it's like you said, it's like teaching a child or something. And you know how you have that thing where you're like, I don't want to teach somebody else something. It'd be faster if I did do it myself.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're constantly going up against on AI in some ways. It's like, well, it'd be faster to do it myself. Why am I teaching the AI to do it?
Yeah.
But AI is also rapidly improving.
It is, to an extent. You've got some copyright laws that there's some gray area when it comes to AI, and I feel like, as it gets older, I didn't realize it's only 3 years old. Yeah. And so that's like, part of I didn't realize that. It's only 3 years old.
Part of the alarm, I think.
So, yeah. But I think it's one of those things that, like, it's a great tool if you use it the right way, and if you use it to, like, help you. But it's just not.
It's not as scary as people think it is?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that is the end of today's reassurance section from Lucy. Thanks for filling us in on all that. That was
You're
good.
welcome.
All right, let's get back to we'll talk about local stuff. So while you were gone, I don't know if you know this or not, but we had a pretty good series of storms that happened in Sapulpa. And that was one thing I wanted to ask if we could talk about today.
Yeah.
Because we did have, we had the windows, the way church got blown out. That was kind of a big deal for everybody. But then you've got certain streets and stuff here where you just drive down the street and it would just tree after tree after tree, and then some streets were nothing. Right. And so Sapulpa Times put out the story late last week about the city had made the decision they were not going to provide a limb drop-off space, and obviously a lot of people were upset about that. I think that they think by default that the city should just do that whenever it becomes a need. And I know the city allows for certain situations where that's the case, such as in 2019 when we had the 2 EF1 tornadoes hit Sapulpa, which is a decidedly different situation than what happened last week.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you and invite you on to kind of expand on that a little bit. So talk about why the city decided to go that route, and I know it wasn't really all the cities like in their control and stuff. So.
Yeah, so obviously it's Mother Nature, and in 2019 that was a FEMA storm, and so FEMA steps in and they kind of help with those things. And so at that time we had the property out on Hawthorne, which we opened up and allowed the dump and debris, all of that to be dropped off there. But if you know, like it took us 2.5 years, right at 3 years, to actually take all that debris that was dropped off and able to like mulch it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so it's not an easy task when you allow an entire community to drop trash and debris into an area. And so we don't have the workers or manpower to take, you know, this mountain of debris and mulch that and get rid of it. And so that's, you know, the first thing that kind of makes it tough. Also, it's a costly thing. So it's not just because we can mulch it, it doesn't become a free project and things like that. And so this storms that we had, while I know some people seen a lot of damage, while others saw no damage, it was very sporadic and where the damage happened. And so we have our employees out with our maintenance crews and all that, cleaning up right-of-ways and parks and streets that were hit, where it becomes public safety. And so we can make sure that that's all cleaned up and things. But we, you know, I know we were quoted saying we don't have the manpower or the staff to do it, and that is truly where it is. And it also comes down to a cost. We have put out some feelers and got some quotes back from different storm removal companies that would pick up a pile or pick up, you know, at the curbside. And I mean, we're looking around $80,000 for just a minimal of a couple of days. And when you go out and look around, it would take more than a couple of days for somebody to pick up all the debris that's out there.
Oh, sure, yeah. No, you're talking about weeks of work, and we don't even know that we're not going to have another storm that makes it even worse. So you might be back out here again.
Right.
Right after that.
Right. So we're picking up all of the city property, right-of-ways, roads, all of those things, but it is going to be left up to the homeowners for this storm to pick up that debris.
So I've been seeing some of the homeowners are leaving piles of limbs and stuff on the curb. I think they might be expecting the city or something to do something with that. So waste management, nobody's coming for that, right?
No, so we actually did reach out to Waste Management and have kind of talked to them and back and forth, and they do not do it.
Okay.
They will sometimes hire out another entity to come in and pick up all that debris. And so we tried to work directly with the company that Waste Management uses and hires for that, and it's very costly. Like I said, they would only be here for a couple of days, and we were looking at around $80,000.
Okay.
So I know people are putting it out there, and you may have a neighbor that picks it up and wants to put it in their fire pit and things like that, but there will not be a city entity picking that up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think people realize the costs associated with this thing. You mentioned that in 2019, despite having the FEMA funding, it still cost the city over $100,000 to get rid of that, and it was something that was left sitting for 3 years. Now that was a special scenario. That wasn't quite like this, but yeah, I think it's understandable. So
yeah. We have heard a lot of like, well, Tulsa does it, well, so-and-so does it. We've heard from other towns saying, nope, we don't do that. I'm not going to throw any more names out there, but Tulsa specifically, you know, they have their own green waste and they have their own like city dump.
Yeah.
And so they have somewhere to get rid of those things where we don't have either of those things.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to explain that. I think that'll help out a lot. While we're talking about the weather and stuff, another thing that keeps coming up is whether or not all this rain that we got. As you know, we had the wettest April on record in Oklahoma, which is just bonkers to me. But yeah, the wettest April, and of course we've got the big project happening right down here, down the alley from where we are. A lot of people are wondering if that's going to affect the Dewey project, and are we going to see delays for that? And I have been pretty confidently told by project manager Mike Russell that they're still on track and not expecting to see any delays though. So you have anything else to add to that?
No, so I know they built in some rain days, and we were with unexpected, a little more rain than we anticipated. But if you remember, whenever we started this project, they were working really quick, and we were talking about how ahead they were and things like that. And so because they were so far ahead, and because we built in rain days, the project is still on track to be completed exactly when it was supposed to be completed, and there's been no delays at this time.
No delays. Awesome. Okay, so while we're talking about the construction, let's kind of talk. I think what is leading to part of that kind of assumption about there being major delays with the Dewey Street project is we've got two major construction projects happening at Sapulpa at the same time. We've got the school project, which you know, I'm like a lot of people. I live over there, and so I drive by that every day. And they're really rocking and rolling over there. They've got multiple excavators out, and it seems like even on days where our guys down here, there's just not a lot going on. Down there, they're moving, and so I think that leads people to think that these guys are stuck or they're waiting on something. But you're saying that's not the case.
No, so it's a difference. So this is an infrastructure project,
right?
And they're not digging. So if you notice, they're bringing in dirt, they're taking out trees and things like that. So dirt does a lot, it says a lot, it is visually different.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest, it looks like there's a lot going on down there to the eye, and while they are bringing a lot of dirt and taking out trees, they're not putting anything into the ground. So they haven't started digging, they haven't started doing like the infrastructure. And so I think that you'll see a slowdown in like productivity when they start doing actual, I don't want to call it actual construction because it's all construction.
Right.
But when they start doing those actual, you know, things with plans and such, you'll see a slowdown in their work.
So it won't look quite as busy as it
Right.
does right now. But stuff is still happening.
Right.
You just can't see it.
Right.
You can see it.
Right. So, you know, we had the water shut off 2 weeks ago. I know that there was a loop put in and some different things to circulate water. Sorry, there's a building smoking, and I was like,
That's
I don't
the,
know if that
that's
should
the
be
coffee
happening.
roaster for the cookery.
That was alarming.
Yeah, it was. About to make news, guys.
Yeah, I was like, maybe we should stop our show. Something else is happening. But yeah, so we've done a lot under the ground here on Dewey. So it just looks different because they're working in different areas.
Yeah. And speaking of things looking different, things are going to start to look different over the next couple of days because I'm seeing them out there and they are very close to tearing down Woodlawn. I don't think they've quite started on it yet. They did get the sign already. I think they did that a while back, but they've got all the parking lot tore up. And I was told the 27th is when it was supposed to come down. It hasn't quite happened yet, but I mean, I'm expecting it any day now. This week, probably today. And so Woodlawn Annex. Now you're not a Woodlawn girl, are you? Okay. And so but do you know anybody who is?
Yeah, I know quite a few Woodlawn kids, and they're not really upset. It's like, oh, I went there and now it's leaving.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool to know what's coming in place of it.
Yeah, it is very cool.
Are you sad?
Do what?
You're not Woodlawn kid?
No, I went to Kellyville.
Oh, that's right. I was like, are you sad? And I was like, no.
That's funny how many people think that I'm born and raised in Sapulpa, but no, I actually didn't come here until I was an adult.
Okay.
But I just loved the town so much.
Okay, you just stayed.
Yeah.
All right.
And raising my kids here and everything else. So.
Perfect.
And I spent plenty of time in the high school, believe me. I know a lot about that high school, yeah. So anyway, we will have to check on our notes. I kind of forgot where I was at. I know we got some events coming up this weekend we want to talk about. Did we get all the city stuff out of the way?
So there's been some questions about the Route 66 park.
Oh yeah.
And so those bids did go out. They did get opened. That was, I think, 2 weeks ago. It was right after a city council meeting. It was the same week. And so those bids will actually go on for to be awarded on the next city council meeting.
Yep.
And then that will get going and cruising. We were talking yesterday, and we're hopeful that it's done by the fall before the winter. And we should be able to do that as soon as we get this awarded, but I'm not going to make any promises. I just know that is the timeline that it is on as soon as we award it.
Okay. I'm ready for people to start getting excited about that park. It is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
If you've not seen the renderings and stuff, and we got to put the story out about that. I'm kind of waiting on these bids to get awarded, I think, to do that. But so when we do, which should be after this next city council meeting, so be looking for that story, be looking for the renderings and all the other information there. It's going to be a beautiful park. If you're not sure what we're talking about, this is over by the old, by the TP Drive-In, Ozark Trail, the bridge, is it 18? Is that what it's called? That steel truss bridge over there. Beautiful piece of Route 66 history that Sapulpa is really going to start to make good use of now. And I'm excited, especially with 2026 next year. A lot of people are going to be traveling the route, and we're going to make a really great spot for them. Which Sapulpa, I don't know how many Sapulpa people realize this, but we got a lot of great places to stop on Route 66 just in Sapulpa. I think Oklahoma City and Tulsa get a lot of the coverage for this, but I mean, we got Route 66 running right through our downtown.
We do, and we are featured in the national passport for Route 66.
That's true, we are.
So all of our national travelers and U.S. travelers that will be picking up their blue passport for 2026 to check out Route 66, they will have a spot where they have to come to Sapulpa to get their stamp. So.
And speaking of Sapulpa history making a comeback, we were talking about the BTW building. I know there's a needs assessment that's on the way, right? Is that what you were wanting to bring up?
The needs assessment is out there. It is on the Sapulpa Parks Facebook page. You can also find it on our website and on our Sapulpa OK Facebook page as well. So there's 3 different places you can find it. You can go to the Senior Center, or you can go to Booker T yourself and fill out a paper form if that's more your jam. But we are asking, we want to hear your voice and what you want to see and what you need for the Booker T Community Center. And so this is going to be a community center that is open up to the entire town. You know, we're going to have a lot of programming moved up there. We're going to be moving our Parks and Rec department actually up there, so they'll have offices over at Booker T.
Great.
And so the Senior Center will be essentially no more. It will all be happening at Booker T Washington. And so in order to do that, we need to know what you want and what you need in order to utilize the facility. And so you can go on there and scan that QR code, or like I said, stop by and fill out a paper form, and let us know what you're interested in. If it's a walking club, if it's crafts, if it's some classes or learning, all of those things. Banquet hall, we want to know.
Banquet hall, that would be cool. The BTW building, it's a project that I'm excited to see. I know that a lot of people, I don't know if you guys remember this was part of the 2020 Geo Bond. It's actually one of the, I won't say last, but I think people forgot about it. You know, it took so long to get going, and just because it's a matter of priority, we had to get some other things taken care of first. And then COVID happened. I mean, that's really the biggest factor in all of this. But,
I wouldn't say priority was the issue. Booker T has always been on our radar. It's not something that we forgot about or put back on priority. But it comes down to money. I mean, COVID happened and everything skyrocketed. And so what would have been, you know, in budget is no longer in budget.
Right.
And so we've had to pivot. We've had to hire a new designing team and things like that. And so it's been a whirlwind for sure for that committee.
In a moment,
But it's coming along, and we are super excited to see some final design renderings and get moving.
Me too. Yeah, it's going to be another great new thing happening in Sapulpa. So, okay, speaking of things happening in Sapulpa, I am killing it with the segues today.
You are.
I'm proud
You're
of
doing
myself.
great.
Okay, let's talk about stuff that's going to be happening this weekend. In fact, we're going to start with what's happening tomorrow, and I feel so ashamed, you guys. So ashamed.
You haven't promoted this at all.
I promoted it a little bit. Okay.
That's what happens when I leave. That's what happens when I leave.
That's true. She leaves, it all falls apart.
Yeah.
The thing I'm ashamed about is I have yet to actually visit the farmers market this year.
Okay.
And now we're only a few weeks into it, so I'm not that bad. But if you guys haven't been to the Route 66 Sapulpa Farmers Market, literally right down the alley from where we're sitting right now, you got to make it a point to go. I've always liked this. They used to have it on Saturday mornings. I think that was better for some folks than it was for others.
Yeah.
But now they've got it on Thursday evenings, and I think since they've started doing that, once people realize that, they're interested in getting out there and doing it, especially as we get into the summertime. It's going to probably be a lot easier to go on an evening than it is on a hot Saturday morning.
Right. Well, it's the perfect opportunity. You've got to travel past downtown, I'm sure, to get home.
Yeah.
If you're coming from work. So stop in and you can grab your fresh produce, breads, eggs, all the things to take home and cook dinner.
And so it will be back tomorrow, right over here at Herald Square. It is from 4 o'clock to 7:30, I believe. And so just perfect time in the afternoon there. You can swing by on your way home from work. If you are at home with the kids, you guys can come by earlier and kind of check stuff out and see what's available. I think it is a little bit early in the season for produce, so I don't think they've got a whole lot of that yet, but I know they do have lots of plants and like bakery items and breads and soaps and all kinds of good stuff like that. So it's a really great opportunity to come and see what's going on. So,
hey.
Katie.
Oh,
we got
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
And so anyway, that's going to be happening tomorrow. That'll officially kick things off for us for the weekend. And then what's next? We got a couple of things happening on Friday.
Yeah, so on Friday we have a couple big events. If you have been following the Chamber or Main Street at all, you will know that the Chamber will be hosting their Bourbon and Bones Dominoes tournament over at the Elks Lodge starting at 4 o'clock on Friday. And I do know that if you were part of it last year, then you were up till like 2 a.m. trying to figure out who the winner was. And they have taken some different paths and some critique, and that will not be going till 2 a.m. Because that is late. But anyway, they are going to be doing that on Friday, and so if you have not signed up for that, you can reach out to the Chamber. I think they're still taking some teams. I don't believe they were completely full.
They didn't have many. I think they maybe had like 5 teams available.
They were talking about more, available. I was like, only registered? No. They were talking about way more than that.
Yeah. They've only got like 5 spots available.
Okay. So if you want to be part of that, reach out. And if you don't get a spot, you can still go and hang out, have a drink, watch the dominoes, or just eat and hang out. That's an option too.
Yep.
But if you don't want to do that, then you can go downtown and shop, which is where I will be.
Bye.
Definitely not playing dominoes. I did try to they did try to recruit me yesterday, and I'm like, no, I don't even know how.
Not on the construction crawl day. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I've got to get my shopping on.
Yeah.
And I don't even know dominoes, so I've been trying to learn in like 2 days. So, no. I will be downtown for the construction crawl, where all of our businesses will be open with sales and deals and snacks and fun. So if you are looking for something to do and Bourbon and Bones is not your thing, I definitely suggest you go downtown and shop and eat. I think James Cali has some live music. The Cookery has their specials going on, and it's on a Friday, so that means they also have live music.
Yep.
So it's going to be a fantastic evening.
It will be. There's a lot of people I think who might have missed the first construction crawl, and so I kind of feel like we need to do like a reintroduction here. So you'll want to start the construction crawl at Main Street.
Yes.
108 East Dewey. Stop by there first. If you don't already have one, get yourself a hard hat and get your kit and everything. And they'll give you your map and everything else that you need in order to make your way around downtown. But definitely start there first if you haven't already done it. I've already got my kit. I think you've got yours, right? Did you get your kit?
Yes.
Did you go last time? Okay.
Yeah.
Then, you know.
I about told you no, but I was like, yes, I do. No, I don't. I wasn't here.
Where were you?
It was spring break.
Oh, she was gone again.
Yeah, so I do not have a kit. I was like,
Yeah.
no, yes, no. No, Lizzie does not have a kit. She was not here. It was during spring break. So I will be getting my own kit
Okay.
and celebrating downtown.
Well, one of the things that businesses are starting to do a lot of now is they're providing stickers for you to put on your hard hat. And so by the time that we get done with this Dewey project, we should all have hard hats that are like just decorated and loaded up with stickers. I'm excited about that because that'll be a really cool reminder about this process that we went through, you know, long after it's all gone.
Right.
So that'll be awesome.
It's going to be fun.
Now I know we've got a couple of things happening next week. I'm going to hold off on those until Friday because I really want to promote what we've got going on this weekend first. But we'll talk about those on Friday. And then, was there anything else?
The only thing left is the Sapulpa Aquatic Center opened on Saturday, the 24th.
Have you met Emmy?
I haven't.
You
She
haven't?
started
Okay.
right as I left.
She did.
So come out
a hoot.
to the Aquatic Center. I know Micah actually got to chat with her last week.
Mm-hmm.
I did get to go back and watch that a little bit. So it is open and ready for business. So go over there and check that out. And then don't forget that the Youth Triathlon is coming up. That will be on Saturday the 14th. That is $5 a kid. It'll be hosted over at Liberty Park. They will swim, they will bike, and they will run. They will get a medal. And then there will be a nice little celebration party at the end.
Yeah. And I've covered that for the paper, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is a hoot just to go watch everybody participate. Some of these people come from all over.
Yes.
They drive hours to come to this thing. I was surprised, but it's well worth it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And it's not expensive.
No, it's $5.
for it. Yeah, it's fantastic. So anyway, looking forward to you getting to meet Emmy. That's going to be fun. I would like to know from her about what the crowds were like on Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yes.
What with all the rain and stuff we had,
Yeah.
if they were all that crowded.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, I was just talking to Charles McCaskey. He was telling me he opened his pool this last weekend. I don't feel like it's hot enough to go swimming yet. I'm not there. How hot did it? You just came from Florida.
I
so-
just came from hot.
Yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm
What's
not
the
getting in the
temperature
pool
got to be
here.
like?
It's
Yeah.
gotta be warm.
Same.
I gotta get a sunburn. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not. I was a lifeguard, and like on days like today, I would wear a sweater on the stand, and I would be like, man, I really hope these kids don't start drowning because I'm gonna be really wet and cold. But I had to stay warm on the stand because it's cold. But I really do. I'm like,
so do you not think that all the other times though, man? I hope these kids don't drown.
no, I did because I
Okay.
did not want to get in. But at the same time, I'm like, it's cold. I really hope these kids don't drown today. Because it would be my luck, which thankfully it never happened to me. I only had to save 2 kids in
Okay.
the 5 years that I did
And you
it.
did save them.
I did save them.
Yeah,
Thankfully,
all right.
and they were not on sweater cold days because kids don't get very adventurous when it's cold.
Right.
They just kind of, hang out. But with the new aquatics director, there are some new rules and things. And so I was super excited to see that there was some issues last year with accidents in the pool and things like that. And so as Emmy has come in, she has changed those. Well, the rules didn't change, but is now providing swim diapers to try to prevent that.
Yep. And she did change like the times. Instead of getting out for a half an hour or whatever, they're going to do it at the end of every hour for 5 minutes
Yes.
to encourage people to go to the bathroom.
And I think
stuff.
that's awesome.
It's a great idea, yeah.
So,
All you have to do, you have to go through this one time to where they had to close the pool for the rest of the afternoon or something because somebody had an accident in the pool. And I think you just go through that once or twice before you start realizing, maybe there's a way that we can prevent this.
right.
Because nobody wants that.
No.
Like you pay your $3 or $4 to get in, and then you get to swim for like an hour, and then you have to get out because somebody else made a mistake.
Well, right. And our lifeguards and our aquatics directors, they don't want that either because
No.
they're hourly. So if they're closing the pool, they're going home. They're not getting paid either.
Yeah, there you go.
So we are working really hard. I know Emmy is super excited, and Susan is very excited, and we're hopeful for a great new season at the pool.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome time at the pool, and Lucy will be wishing that none of the kids drown, no matter how hot the weather is.
Yes.
That's also good.
Yeah, I will.
All right. All right, guys, we're gonna get close to ending it there. I do have a joke today,
Okay.
believe it or not. Did you bring one?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't. Okay. All right. Did you hear about the mute chicken?
No?
He didn't give a cluck.
Oh.
Sorry about my foul language.
That second one got me.
Dang.
All right.
Oh, that was a good one. I like
That
that.
was good.
Oh man, guys, this has been a great show. Thanks for tuning in. Lucy, glad to have you back. Always a pleasure. We'll see you guys again on Friday where we talk about all things happening in the town that we love. Also, don't forget about Free Coffee Friday. That'll be happening 7:30 to 9:30. Come down and hang out with us. You don't just have to see us on the screen. You can meet us in person too.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
I'll be here.
So, yeah, we will both be here, and we will see you guys then if you're down here. If not, we'll see you on the Timeloop on Friday morning. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.